Did you know that right now, while you watch this video, there are insects working to save your life? And no, I'm not exaggerating. In fact, if all insects on the planet disappeared now, modern medicine would collapse in less than 6 months. Get ready, because what you will find out in the coming minutes can make you never kill that ant in your kitchen the same way. Look, I know what you're thinking. Insects? Seriously? These disgusting things that we kill with flipping? Yeah, my dear prejudiced viewer. While you are there with disgust, scientists from all over the world are using cockroaches to develop more powerful antibiotics than penicillin. That's right, you heard. Baratas. And that's not all. At this very moment, in cutting-edge laboratories around the world, insects are being used to detect airport pumps, diagnose cancer even before symptoms appear, and even regenerate amputated limbs. Science fiction? That nothing. It is the reality that most people simply ignore. Let's start with something that will turn your stomach, but in a good way, I promise. In hospitals in England and the United States, doctors are literally placing living larvae on patient wounds. What a horror, you must be thinking. But calm down there. These Lucilia sericata fly larvae are true microscopic surgers. They devour only the dead and infected fabric, leaving the healthy fabric intact. It is more accurate than any human scalpel. And the most impressive? They secrete antimicrobial substances that kill antibiotic-resistant bacteria. A 2023 study showed that diabetic patients with ulcers who did not heal years ago had complete recovery in weeks using larval therapy. There are people who lost their feet because they didn't know that. Gangrene patients, data as lost cases, went back to these larvinias. And do you know the most ironic? This technique was used in World War I. Soldiers who had larvae-infested wounds recovered better than the others. But then they invented the antibiotics, and everyone forgot the larvae. Now, with the resistant superbacteria, they came back with everything. As you kill flies, they are saving legs from amputation. Now, let me tell you about the most valuable insect on the planet, and I bet you never heard of him. The crab tool. Okay, technically it's not an insect, it's an arthropod, but stay with me here. The blood of this animal is blue, literally blue, and it is worth more than $60,000 per liter. Why? Because without him, all the vaccines you have already taken in life could have killed you. Business of the crab of the frust is the only method approved worldwide to detect bacterial contamination in injecting medications. Each time you get a vaccine, an injection, or receive serum in the hospital, you owe your life to this prehistoric insect that has been around for 450 million years. He survived the dinosaurs, the ice ages, the mass extinctions, and you know why? Because his immune system is so perfect that it has not changed in 500 million years. His blood cells, amoebocytes, detect the lowest presence of bacteria and form a gel instantly. It is so sensitive that it detects contamination in parts per trillion. That's why the whole pharmaceutical industry depends on it. Respect the veteran. Speaking of veterans, African ants Dorylis have been practicing medicine for longer than humans have existed. East Africa tribes have been using these ants as surgical staples for centuries. How does it work? The ant bites the edges of the wound, joining them. Here comes the macabre part, and genius. They cut the head of the ant, leaving only the jaws stuck. Ready. Natural suture that dissolves alone in a few days. Zero infection, zero rejection. But it doesn't stop there. Casting ants have grown fungi for 50 million years long before humans invent agriculture. And in these fungal gardens, they produce natural antibiotics to protect their plantations. Scientists have found that these antibiotics are effective against parasites that kill humans. Scientists at Harvard University are studying the jaws of these ants to create new biodegradable suture materials. What's more, ants can carry their own weight 50 times. Engineers are copying their leg structure to create exoskeletons for paralyzed people. In the meantime, you are there spending fortune on Band-Aid. Let's talk about scorpions. Oh no, dangerous animal. Dangerous is that you don't know what they can do for your health. The Israeli yellow scorpion poison contains a substance called chlorotoxin that has an insane property. It binds only to carcinogenic cells in the brain. Doctors are using this to create the tumor paint, a paint that makes brain tumors shine during surgeries. Imagine the surgeon operating his brain and the tumor lighting like a Christmas tree, showing exactly where to cut. This is already saving lives. And the Cuban blue scorpion? Its poison is being tested against lung cancer, with results that would make traditional chemotherapy look medieval medicine. Terminal patients had complete remission. There are living people today who should be dead, all thanks to scorpions. But wait, there is more. The Amazon scorpion has a poison that is revolutionizing stroke treatment. A dose applied up to 6 hours after the stroke can completely revert brain damage. It's like having a Control Plus Ziz for the brain. Hey, for a little bit there. Before I tell you about the insect that can end the antibiotic crisis, let me make a proposal. If you are as shocked as I was when I discovered these things, hits that like. Seriously, your grandmother needs to know that cheap can save lives, and you subscribe to the channel because next week I will tell how spiders are revolutionizing medicine for erectile dysfunction. Yes, you heard right. Spiders. Viagra. Direct connection. It won't lose it, right? Returning to medical insects. Bees. These I know do honey, propolis. No, forget the honey. Bees can detect cancer in their breath. Researchers have found that trained bees can identify lung cancer biomarkers, skin, and 98% precision pancreas. 98%. This is more accurate than many Reye's million exams, as bees are trained to associate the smell of these biomarkers with sugar reward. In minutes, they can tell if you have cancer just to smell your breath. The future of medical diagnosis can be a swarm, not a machine. And it's not just cancer. Bees are being trained to detect COVID-19, tuberculosis, and even diabetes. An entire hive can do the work of a clinical analysis laboratory. And the best? The exam takes seconds and costs cents. Bee poison apitoxin is saving lives from people with multiple sclerosis, patients who could not walk again marathons. Melatonin, the main component of the poison, destroys the HIV envelope. Yes, bees can be the key to healing AIDS. Now the star of the show, the cockroach. Ika! Calm down. Let me change your opinion. Scientists have found that cockroaches are virtually immune to infections. They live in the sewage and are not sick. The secret? Their brain produces 9 different antimicrobial molecules. Tested in the laboratory, these molecules destroyed resistant bacteria that kill thousands of people a year, including MRSA and E. coli mortals. Even more shocking, cockroaches can live a headless week. Why? Because they breathe through splashes in the whole body. Scientists are studying this to create new ventilation systems for ICU patients, and there's a kind of cheap Madagascar that produces milk. Yes, you heard right, cheap milk. And this milk has 3 times more protein than cow's milk and all essential amino acids. Scientists believe it may be the solution to world malnutrition. Disgusting? Perhaps. Revolutionary? For sure. Cockroaches are also being used as cyborgs in rescue operations. Scientists implement chips on them and control them remotely to look for survivors in rubber strokes. They enter impossible spaces for humans or dogs. They have already saved dozens of lives in Japan. Fruit flies. These pests that fly in their rotten banana are responsible for 6 Nobel Prizes in medicine. Yes, 6. 75% of disease-causing genes in humans have correspondent in the flops. Alzheimer, Parkinson, diabetes. Everything is studied first in them. They are so important that there is a genetic bank with millions of mutant flies for research. What's more, flies can detect cancer cells by the smell. German scientists have created the lab-on-a-fly genetically modified flies that change color when detecting tumors. It's Black Mirror, but good. Do you know that annoying fly that is zunking in your ear? Her wings design is being used to create microscopic medical drones that can operate within the human body. The frequency of winging beat is inspiring new ultrasonic treatments to destroy tumors without surgery. Let's talk about nutrition. Crickets contain more protein than beef, more calcium than milk, more iron than spinach, and all essential amino acids. Oh, and vitamin B12 at absurd levels. But I won't eat cricket. New, you probably ate. Cricket flour is in protein bars, breads, pasta. And you know why? Because 2 billion people worldwide eat insects regularly and have much lower levels of malnutrition than developed countries. The UN stated that insects are the future of food security. While you wrinkle your nose, Olympic athletes are beating records fed by cricket protein. The Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world. Part of his diet included insects. Coincidence? I don't think so. And look, to produce 1 kilo of cricket protein, you need 1 liter of water. For 1 kilo of bovine protein, 15,000 liters. Insects produce 100 times fewer greenhouse gases than cows. So besides saving your health, they can save the planet. Spiders, the material of the nightmares, and the dreams of the surgeons. The spider silk is 5 times stronger than steel, more elastic than rubber, and completely biocompatible with the human body. Scientists are using spider silk to create no-rejection sutures, artificial nerves that regenerate lost connections, and even synthetic tendons for injured athletes. The spider Nephila clavips produces gold silk so resistant that it has been used to do bulletproof vests. Now imagine this rebuilding your knee after an injury. It's the Spider-Man of medicine, and the Chilean tarantula. Her poison has a protein that blocks chronic pain without causing dependence. Patients with unbearable pain decades were free from suffering with a single application. It's 1,000 times more powerful than morphine, but without any side effects. Fireflies. Romantic, right? Wrong. These are street diagnosis machines. Luciferase, an enzyme that makes fireflies shine, is revolutionizing medical examinations. Doctors inject modified luciferase into patients to track real-time cancer cells. The tumor literally shines, showing if the treatment is working. It's like having an internal cancer GPS. And not there. Bioluminescence is being used to detect tuberculosis, malaria, and even COVID. A test that would cost thousands in traditional equipment now costs cents using firefly technology. Japanese scientists went further. They created plants that shine when they are sick. Imagine your garden warning you about pests even before you realize, or food that shines when it is contaminated. It's the future happening now. Beetles. Did you know that the bomber beetle produces a chemical reaction that generates explosions at 100 degrees C? Engineers are copying this system to create new needle-free injection methods, a controlled micro-explosion that injects medications through the skin. No pain, no needle, no fear. And the Namibian desert beetle? It collects air water in one of the driest places on the planet. His back structure is being used to create water capture systems for hospitals in dry areas. A single panel based on the beetle can produce 50 liters of water a day out of nowhere. The future of medicine has 6 paws and antennas. While you read this, scientists are developing nanorobots inspired by ants to deliver direct remedies to sick cells, Brazilian stingless bee antibiotics that kill superbacteria, poison healers of poison of centopeia, 100 times more powerful than morphine without addiction, termite hormones that can reverse cellular aging, cetibug proteins that regenerate infarmed heart, dragonfly enzymes that dissolve brain clots. The next time you get the Modifly, remember, you may be destroying cancer healing, the next revolutionary antibiotic, or the secret of immortality. And it's not an exaggeration. Penicillin was discovered by accident. Aspirin came from the tree bark. The pacemaker was inspired by electric eels. The greatest medical discoveries came from nature, and we barely scratched the surface of what insects can offer. So, after all this, let me ask you a question that will be hammering in your head. If you found out you have a serious illness and the only effective treatment involving insects, would you accept? Or would prejudice speak louder than the will to live? Comment down which insect surprised you the most. I bet half of you are still processing the part of the larvae eating wound. Or was it the cheap milk? Or the bees detecting cancer? And before you leave, think about it. While we spend billions trying to create artificial remedies, nature already has a complete pharmacy of 10 million insect species, and we know the medicinal properties of less than 0.1% of them. Maybe the next great medical advance is not in that ant rising on your wall right now, or in that spider in the corner of the ceiling, or even in that mosquito you are about to kill. Respects the little ones. They can be giant in your health. And remember, The next time someone says they are afraid of insect, shows this video. Maybe we don't save some lives, human and insect,